incoming.
All right, let's go. Jack, we can't just leave. Daniel!
We must not allow this device to fall into the hands of Anubis.
Fine. Jack!
Sir, he's right. If we destroy it, we lose our only chance to find the location of the lost city.
All right, then what? No. Jack, somebody has to do it. The answer is in there. If we don't find the lost city, we're as good as dead. Let me do it. And who does the translating when you go ancient? Bet you're the one person who can't do it. Jack!
Sir!
Get Into Geek. This is episode 152. Here we are talking Stargate SG-1 Season 7, the final episodes. Lost City. Full Get Into Geek team is here. My name is Mitch. Joining me, Matty.
Yo!
Brendan.
Hello.
And Rhys.
G'day, guys.
If you are joining us for the first time, we are three Stargate fans of old. Basically, we love the show. Since it was on air. Rhys, though, he's watching it for the first time each and every week along with us, so we get a newbie's take, some nostalgic look at it as we look at Stargate, what it means in 2020. Here we are, Lost City, the double episode to wrap up Season 7, guys. We've finally got here. Some surprises, some not, because they were spoiled a little while ago, but that's fine. So we'll go to the old synopsis of the show, throw it over to Rhys, and see what he thought for the first time. Convinced it's their last hope for finding the lost city, O'Neill allows the knowledge of the ancients to be downloaded into his mind once again, even though the first time almost killed him. While he slowly deteriorates, he and SG-1 must race against time to uncover the secret of the lost city of the ancients, but then Anubis attacks in what could be the final conflict for the people of Earth. Which actually kind of works when you look at this, because it's the last episode of the entire box set, rather than being episode 3. This one, it's done as a double-parter on the disc. It's its own disc in the DVD case. It's written by Brad Wright and Robert C. Cooper, directed by Martin Wood. We are going old-school SG-1 creatives here.
18.
Rhys, Lost City.
Drum roll.
Because the real one doesn't work on my desk.
Kind of already knew it was Atlantis, so. Nah, what an episode, Jesus. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago when I said I hope it all just ends up in a massive battle in space. Well, I mean, next best thing, it's inside the Earth's atmosphere. But man, when those gliders were coming across, and then Braytac saying there's ships coming from, and there's some coming from the other way, and then there's like, when two tribes go to war, they just come like, they didn't even fly over top of each other. They just went straight through each other, man. I was like, oh,
and the shot sort of like, it goes in to meet them. Like, that was cool. Like 3 different directions colliding. That was so cool, yeah.
But yeah, man, everything about this, like O'Neill, again, getting his bloody head trapped in the wall toilet, whatever it was. Oh, man. Like, start to finish, this was epic. Loved it. Obviously, number 1.
All right, tune in next week. Let's
get into geek. But yeah, nice throwback to the 5th race.
Yeah.
And
so much to talk about. That's why my mind's just racing. Like, what do I say?
It did feel like a movie. Like we've said before, that this was the movie.
Yeah,
but now the series is going to continue. So this is just the best episode, and everyone says it's the best.
Yeah, well, Brad Wright and Robert Cooper have had this sitting in their back pocket for like 2 or 3 seasons. Like this was how the series was going to end. Do a movie, set up Atlantis, and it was just going to be Atlantis on its own. It wasn't going to be running the same time as SG-1. But when you get an episode like this, what bloody network is going to go, I think we might cancel your show. I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to see an episode like this and go, let's give you guys another season and a spin-off.
So the renewal, when does this? The renewal comes, like you said, they've got this episode sort of in their back pocket, but do they bring it out because they know they are coming back, or is this episode when they still think this is the last episode of Stargate SG-1?
No,
I think it's still the last.
Wow,
they'd been approved for Atlantis. And so they realized that they couldn't tell the Atlantis story without this set up first.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to get the movie.
Yeah, okay.
So they just pulled the pin and went, you know what, we're going to have to use this. We've got a much, much lower budget, but we've got to tell this story to set up what we want to set up for Atlantis.
Because I thought about it last. It was. This is about the inauguration episode, but in hindsight, I was thinking about it more leading into this, having watched this one. Like, if inauguration, that was annoying for us when we think, oh, it's another clip show, it's a politics type thing, and we get a couple of those. This is season 7. Oh, this is so annoying, but we've got 3 seasons left. If they didn't know they were getting a renewal even when this aired, or when they were making it, they definitely didn't know it with inauguration. So I'm like, wow, what a big move that your third last episode of the entire series was going to be a clip show. Sure, it was leading into their movie, not quite movie, but big season, double-ep finale that was going to lead into a spin-off and all that. But still, like, I know you're saving money, I get all that, and it's one set essentially, but like, that seems like such almost a missed opportunity to not use the main cast and not have a 3-episode big finish. But I guess in hindsight, it all does work out. And we were saying last week that inauguration going into this is a great 3-arc finish to season 7. And then if you look at Heroes, you take Resurrection out of it, it's a great 5-episode, or 3 if you look at the 4 episodes as 2 doubles or whatever. Heroes and Lost City. So what a massive finish to season 7. Like, you take Resurrection really stands out now as just being what are you doing there? Who invited you to this party? You should have been here in the the curtain warmers.
But I think it was purely just a money saving thing, because they said this episode this is the highest budget episode they've ever made since the pilot. Like, they put more money into this than anything else.
Wow.
You can tell. And CGI.
Well, and they still had to cut back. One
so
thing that I really, really, really wish they'd been able to do, if it had been a feature movie, at the end when the cargo ship is drilling down into the ice, instead of SG-1 ringing down, in the original script, they were supposed to base jump. So there would have been this shot of the 4 of them, just like Mission Impossible style, just running towards that hole, just jumping off and pulling parachutes and parachuting down. But they just couldn't afford it.
Dang.
I just wish they would have done
cool would that have been?
For like Teal'c to have that Captain America moment where he just jumps. They're like, did he have a parachute? They're like, no.
But back from Watergate when he's like, this does not seem like a good idea. He gets his full circle moment and he's like, this seems like an awesome idea. Just rah.
Yeah.
Far out.
Does not seem wise.
That was it. That was the line. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, so when they went to that first world where O'Neill got his face stuck, how did the Goa'uld know about that? Was that just a coincidence that they rocked up?
That was in Jonas's head too.
Say no more.
There's a quick bit of exposition when O'Neill gets to the base and they're doing that walk and talk from the elevator about the crossword puzzle and stuff. It's basically what happened in Heroes has happened again. So there's another team on that planet. They encountered one of those little Anubis droids.
SG-2, I think, was this one.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So one of those little drones. So they know that Anubis is on his way. That's why they have to get there first. And then Hammond even brings up the point. He says to Jack, he's like, "Are you sure you want to do this after what happened last time?" Referring to him getting shot and Janet being killed. So that's
I thought it was. Oh yeah, I guess they didn't. Did they know it was one of those face suckers?
Yeah, because they knew.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, because SG-2 found it, and that's why they were going to collect it to bring it back to do research on it.
Yeah, because that's why I thought when he said what happened last time, he was referring to the 5th race, not Heroes.
Oh,
and that's
a
when
good point.
straight away they go,
that.
we're not going to go anywhere near it. So, I
didn't think they knew it was a face hugger yet. I just thought they'd found ancient writing that talked about, a repository of knowledge and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they all seemed surprised when Daniel activated the buttons and the face hugger phased out of the wall. They all seemed surprised. Right. So I didn't think
that's
they
right.
knew
Yeah,
going in.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I was asking. Was that did they know it was a face hugger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good point though for Hammond to be referring potentially to.
No, it makes sense though because of
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I assumed it was a reference to Heroes.
But didn't Daniel say the repository? Yeah, when he was talking to Daniel on the phone, he said they found one of the repository of knowledge. So how did they know that if the face-sucking things didn't come out? Daniel had to press the button on the
Well, I'm assuming that
SG-2
went and took some photos and then brought it back. Daniel's...
Oh, he's figured out. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Worked it
Actually,
out.
I think he said
and then
something
went
like that.
straight to that second column and then pushed the buttons.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I assume.
Yeah, so much going on.
Yeah.
And the bit that I like the most is it starts off very casually with the crossword.
And I love how that just seems like one of those innocuous, just
Yeah.
fun little Jack moments of, and then him washing his phone. And then it's played off as a fun thing when he and Carter are like, oh, you wrote fat, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being a really crucial, piece of information when Daniel sees that he's written ancient words in there.
Yeah.
As
so
well. I'm like,
good.
I love the way that's just sort of, built in from the start.
Yeah. And just washing the phone in the sink.
That was good.
Yeah,
so
just
good.
randomly.
Just so good. He would have just done that too. It's on there. Whatever. It's a prop. It's a prop.
Doesn't work anyway. He just keeps talking through it. But I was like, man, that's classic 3310, like 33 Nokia.
Yeah.
You could do that shit.
Yeah.
It could still be underwater.
That's it.
Yeah.
Be like one of those satellite phones.
Yeah.
Military.
They use that when they want to drown people in the mob. They just tie 3310 to their ankles and throw them in the river.
Drop them in.
What got me in that scene though was how fast he was shaving, and I know.
Yeah.
The razor looked like one of those just ones you just stop
Old school.
like a Bic razor, like you pick it up. It's one of those ones you might get in
It's
like a cheap
disposable.
motel, like it's an absolute disposable, like use once, get rid of it because it's already rusty and sharp and shaped. Like, and he was just against the grain, mind you, on his
Yeah.
neck, just. And I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
but-
slow the shit down.
There was
Holy
no
Christ.
5
You gotta-
blades and a moisturising
Oh my
strip on that
God.
one.
You got to
No
remember,
way.
this is a guy who's been in the military for how many years, and he's had to do that every single day of his
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
So
In
he's
a
good at it,
teacup.
Yeah,
and also make his bed and get shit done.
yeah.
We're there in half an hour. Calm down.
And he sits in his car half an hour
Trying to do the
trying to do the
crossword.
crossword. Everyone's waiting for him.
I did love to
Classic.
that.
And then Hammond goes, "Nice of you to join us." He doesn't
Yeah.
even say sorry. He's like, "Yep,
Yeah,
good to see you. Good morning."
In hindsight, if he had been on time, they would have got to the planet earlier, dug that thing out, and he would have had to go into the face sucker.
Yeah.
He wanted that double or nothing.
One thing I do love about that scene is the way Martin Wood actually did it. I'll play a bit of the audio commentary of something that you wouldn't even notice, and I was so impressed with it.
Now you notice that door in behind, it's moving? That door is actually hiding a ramp back there. The camera has to run up.
Steadicam, yeah.
Yeah, so it's hiding it. They're fixing the door right now. Now watch, they're pretending to walk upstairs here.
But we're actually going up a ramp.
Right. If you look at them, they don't both go up at the same time.
You wrote the word fat.
So as they're walking from the elevator, doing the walk and talk, and they walk, so they have to go up those sort of 5 stairs into the control room before they go up the spiral staircase. They weren't walking upstairs. They were walking up a ramp, pretending to be walking on stairs.
Yeah.
Because the Steadicam operator needed to get up that ramp to be able to do that big one shot all the way up the stairs.
Staircase.
I was like, that's why I love Martin Wood, because he comes up with shit like that. And then he's obviously gone, because the angle that I want when he comes out of the elevator, you're going to be able to see the ramp in the background. So he just has like Siler like pulling the blast door across trying to fix it. And then by the time they get there, they've opened it up and you don't see anything. Oh, I love when Martin Wood does stuff like that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just like you said, Brennan, there's so much going on. And for me, like, you get a lot of other big season finales in this show, and I feel like they still stand alone as episodes. You maybe not, you don't want to introduce a new viewer to the show with a season finale, but you could get away with it going, look, this is just a big episode. There'll be a couple of references, but you could watch it and deal with it. This one really feels like, and I guess because they thought, let's just throw everything out there, it's our last episode, it does feel like a big culmination, even if it is just of this season, but there is obviously a throwback to the season 2 when he got deposited and all this other stuff going on that they just keep throwing out there, that it's just a big finale throwback. Let's include shit from all the last 7 years. And you kind of need to know all that sort of stuff. Like, I don't feel like you could watch this the same as a first-timer or as a first-timer, like, in general, not like a Rhys watching it for the first episode, but the very first episode of this show, everything you might have seen. You could watch maybe any other season finale and get away with
probably
it.
watch Nemesis with the replicators and Asgard ship crashing into the water, something like that, where you get a good taste of everything.
Yeah.
But this, there's so much backstory to everything.
Well, when you think about just the one thing of the fleet of 302s, it's like that is basically it's the 2004 Stargate equivalent of On Your Left. Like when the Avengers assemble in Endgame, and it's like we've only ever really seen it like one 302 at a time.
Yeah.
It's always been a prototype or just Jack and Sam in one. So, and we got a little taste of it. I love the fact that it was sort of sprinkled in back in Fragile Balance with the young O'Neill, that there was that big group of pilots that were being trained.
Yeah.
So it kind of lays that framework in there for us to now have. It doesn't come out of nowhere and feel unearned that we've got this whole fleet of 302s that come in as the cavalry to save the day. And I'm like, that just gives you that
goosebumps.
Yeah, like if this is the first episode you'd ever watched, you wouldn't know how earned it was for us to have a fleet of 302s capable of taking on a fleet of
especially when you think of
and
Tangent, when Jack and Teal'c went out there, that was, a hybrid go old, two hybrid
what was that,
go
like
old ships.
season 3 or something like that? So this is like 4 years later, you can see how far we've come.
Yeah.
To also have the Prometheus there, like the Prometheus, just Hammond coming in, Hammond being in command of the Prometheus with Gary, with Walter in his little chair there, then coming down to sort of hover over the cargo ship, and Hammond's like, protect him at all costs.
When Hammond walked into the Prometheus and he's get up and he sat down, I was like, oh, shit. He's about to get fucking real. He's out of Cheyenne Mountain. He's going global.
Straight out of Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
whoever he wants to get up, he's going to get up.
Yeah, he brought Walter with him. Not only did he brought Walter with him.
Yeah. Walter,
Shit's gonna happen.
all of those shits. Come get some.
I love that.
Mother Nature just pissed her pantsuit.
Because, like, when
Anubis, Texas says hi.
At the start, when they go, Hammond, you've been relieved, or he comes into the house, been relieved of command, I was like, holy shit, like, this is setting up for the end. Like, this is full on, man.
And it wasn't like a backup. Sorry, I was going to say, it wasn't like a backup in that, he's been relieved before, but one of the first scenes is we've introduced to Weir, who's, like, going to be his replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's...
which was random, like...
Yeah,
anyway,
but no, keep going. Keep going with Hammond.
Yeah, and then at the end when he's like, "Oh, I've got another job for you," and I'm like, "Oh God, he's gonna I'll go back and take charge of the SGC again, like backflip on that."
Security or whatever.
Now you finally realise how much shit we're in, but no, he goes into the Prometheus, and I was just like, "That's sick." And then when like they're hovering over, and they're like, the pilot or the colonel, whatever his name is, goes, "Oh, we need to get out of here and recharge our shields," and he's like, "Nah, stay here." And I'm like, "Oh, he's a cowboy, man. He does not give a shit." And then going towards Anubis's mothership, and they're like, the next shot's gonna kill us," and he's like, "Yeah, we'll take him out."
Yeah, he's all right, ramming speed.
I was like, "Oh, this guy, man, he doesn't give a shit." Like,
that's it. That was the line.
He's like, I don't care. Like, SG-1 need to do this, and it was, man. I was like, I was so proud of him. But, like, I was like, this guy, like, he knows what's at stake, man. And that, like, how the can you take him off the SGC command?
Perfect move by President Hayes.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a new job for you.
And, and given that they,
Suicide mission.
Well, I think.
What do we do with him, sir? I'm not sure. Let him retire or kill him.
I think the first time I watched this, that's what I was worried happening, because it was only like 2 or 3 episodes ago we lost Janet.
Yeah.
Hammond's been relieved of duty. They've brought in this civilian who we know is going to replace him. So it's like when he starts doing that kamikaze run, it's like for a minute you're like, we could actually lose Hammond and the Prometheus
and
here.
Walter.
Yeah, that could be. Oh, that's actually
Walter's got to beam out.
And I guess too, like the idea of Jack, that he went into this episode
from the back of the Prometheus.
They're just about to die. He does the skydiving from the top of the atmosphere there. Jumps out
a window. The
base diving.
Well, you said it was the on your left moment, because I thought I was going to. When I was summing up before, that it doesn't feel like you could just watch this without all the prior knowledge, because to me it did feel like the way that Endgame was, say, as far as a big franchise, you kind of need to know a lot of stuff they were talking about, whereas, say, the previous film, Infinity War, you go, oh, this is a big movie with a lot of characters, a lot of pre-setup, but you can watch it by itself and it's a bookend, it's fine, it closes off. Whereas Endgame is like, this is a culmination and a big wrap-up, and that's what I felt like this was. And then you say that's the on your left moment and all that other shit, and for Walter, for mine, you just saying that like he's the Captain Marvel of the Endgame fights. Like all the Gould chips just start, they aim the one way. It's like, what is it? It's like Walter jumping out of the Prometheus in his combat cardigan, just with like 2 off guns, as Rhys is just flying through the air in a wingsuit or some shit.
with his glasses still on.
I tell you
just
what.
singing Spaceman. Why did you two go?
This is for Chevron.
This is for Chevron 5, not Chevron 6. I tell you what, if Stargate comes back, that's what they need. They need wingsuits. That'd be awesome.
Braid Tack, great entrance.
Oh,
Fucking epic. He comes in and they're like, and then who was it? Daniel. This is our new leader. Did Hammond of Texas die in battle? Like that could be the only possible reason why he's not here.
Yeah.
Like,
And then Weir puts a hand out to greet him, and he totally rebuffs it. He doesn't shake her hand at all. He's just like, I got information for you. He just accepts it. He's like, oh, okay, she's here now. Here's this information that I still
humans.
give you.
So stupid.
Yeah.
that was awesome, man. Because he knew. He's like, it's. I think that's the thing that really came across to me is that everyone involved knows what's at stake.
Yeah.
Whereas these, the president, this Dr. Weir come in and they're like, oh, okay, let's get to know the area.
Ruining
and they're
it.
like, no, we're about to die in a couple of hours. Like,
Yeah, and she's got Kinsey in her ear.
Yeah.
And it's like she doesn't know to trust us any more than Kinsey.
yeah.
So she's kind of giving whatever Daniel and Sam.
She knows
and Jack
about the
and stuff
manual
say to her.
iris. That was impressive.
Oh, that was in one of the
All right,
one
well,
of the files.
Because
let's get on to Weir, because I do have to say this for the one and only time
here
in this
already, mate.
entire
We're
series.
talking about it.
I can agree with Brendan that I do not like Weir
Yeah.
in this episode.
Yeah. Well,
Going
it's the same character.
Going forward, I love Weir. Full disclosure for Rhys, they actually recast her. They use a different actress next season to
and
play.
by disclosure, I mean spoiler.
Oh, and how is it a spoiler?
Well, so Hammond isn't in charge of SGC anteangle.
Well, no, I didn't say that. But Weir is a character that we see
Matty.
going forward.
I noticed that Teal'c wasn't really impressed either because as soon as Braytek said, all right, I'm going, and Teal'c's like, yeah, I'm going with him.
I'm leaving as well.
I'm off too.
I know you're not
staying here.
officially part of the military, but I feel like you could have asked somebody for permission already. It's like I'm bailing too to get warriors and ships.
Yeah.
He's like, well, Hammond's gone and O'Neill's dead in 3 days, so
Yeah, I'm out. He 5,000.
I only pledge my allegiance to those two. I'm out.
That was the other thing we were saying, but all the finality, that we could lose Hammond, all this other shit is happening. That obviously Jack too, he went into this mission, or at least coming out of the face sucking thing, that it was going to be the end of him in like a week. He was going to die, but he knew that, and he was planning that, preparing for that by packing up all his shit. And it kind of would have been a nice way to
Take the weekend.
You take the weekend to end and bookend his story arc with the movie O'Neill, that he went into that mission. It was a suicide mission.
Yeah.
If all else failed, and even if not, he was going to bury the gate and himself alongside with it with a nuclear bomb on Abydos. This was going to end with him making essentially like a very long, drawn out, but kamikaze mission of putting him under the influence of an alien device that would eventually kill him. And that would end Richard Dean Anderson's role within the show. The show would end. Hammond goes. We get a new leader, and onwards we look forward to more stories that will never be told in a show. So I'm like that. Again, hindsight's a wonderful thing when the show goes on for another 3 years, but it was really shaping up that it could have wrapped up so much shit. It had so much to do being the final episode or episodes of this series, and even though it didn't have to be that in the end, it still succeeded. I don't know. It's funny you say that about that Weir, actually, because she was so different between Lost City Part 1 and Part 2. I actually kind of liked her in Part 1 because she didn't want to step on anyone's toes. She's like, I don't even know what this shit is. I'm not qualified for this. I've delegated negotiations on Earth between warring countries and dictators and all this other shit, but I don't know how to talk with aliens, and these people have been doing the job, surely, and even though they say that Hammond has made mistakes and SG-1's made mistakes, and that he's influenced by SG-1, it's like, well, it's only because they've been there from the start together. It's not like Hammond's a pushover. It's just that he is coming at it from a place of authority.
He was pretty much of a hard ass, especially early on in the pilot.
Yeah, and he was
a hard ass general.
Yeah, and he had to work, and they learnt together. So you can shove in someone else, and Kinsey can do all that all he wants. We're going to stick in someone else, military or otherwise. Yeah, unless it's an absolute patsy. this person is going to have to adapt the way that the SGC already run things. You can get rid of SG-1, but you've got 20 other teams and medical staff and the Silers of the world that are going to go, no, this is the way things run and this is the way things need to run to make this happen. So
it sort of annoyed me when she took over, and she's obviously a patsy so that bloody Kinsey can come in and just take control, which he was trying to do. But then she gave orders like, okay, release the Prometheus. I think that's our best shot at the moment. I'm like, you literally have no f***ing idea about any battle tactics or anything. You're a negotiator. How would you know what our best bet is against motherships that you have learnt about yesterday?
Yeah, she's probably seen a picture of Prometheus and that's about it. Yeah.
Can we use that thing?
Is that a real thing?
No, the issue I have with this version of Weir is they keep talking about what a great negotiator she is and all that kind of stuff, and she's so cool, calm and collected, but it's like, for me, comparing her to Tori Higginson, who takes over the role, Tori has a very kind of like regal and calming kind of nature, and I believe her as a negotiator. Whereas Jessica Steen, who plays Weir in this episode, I find her very scattered and manic. Like even before, I mean, I understand that would be something she'd have to play because she is out of her depth in certain stories, but it's like from the very start, she can't even negotiate her way into getting that cab. Like she wasn't even holding her own against that guy.
You're right.
Like it's impressive she can like talk to him in Russian, but it's like I didn't get the instinct at any point that he was going to back down off that cab. It's only because Kinsey rolled up in a limo that she got
That's
that.
pretty funny.
That's poor writing.
Yeah, and then later on,
Cooper.
and then later on in Hammond's office when
Can't write negotiations.
well, and later on in Hammond's office when she's sort of having her argument with Kinsey. Even then, she's kind of feels very sort of frantic kind of nature to her.
Yeah.
I feel like, whereas if it was Tori doing it, it would have been much more like subtle and laid back. I feel like Jessica never really embraced the power that she was given in this position.
Yeah.
I mean, she only had 2 episodes to do it.
I mean, even when she says, close the manual iris, and then Kinsey actually grabs her and says, let me go, like a full coward. And like for me, it was like she didn't even have power. She was physically restrained, not only emotionally. So I was like, let her go, let her do her shit.
Yeah,
piss this guy off.
Yeah, because that's it. By the second episode, they're putting moments in where she's learning. She's like, I know what an IDC is and blah, blah, blah. But she seems really snippy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if you're a really good negotiator and you're in this job and you've got the people who've been doing this job for years and years and years and years, you don't need to be snippy. It's like she could have just gone, yes, I know what an IDC is. But she got really sarcastic and snippy with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't. So, I mean, obviously, I'm just comparing it to the other actress that does it, and it's a character that I love, like, up on the level of Daniel Jackson. For me, it's like Daniel Jackson and Dr. Weir.
I wouldn't have thought so.
You hate her that much.
Wonderful promise for Rhys for the future.
Can't wait to hate her.
Hate her already. Plus, she's replacing a beloved character, John
I hate
Hammond.
all doctors on the show.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, anyone with a doctor. Oh, Sam's technically a doctor, though. So
Captain Doctor.
Captain Doctor.
But
yeah.
Just to backtrack.
Well, can't wait for a doctor, the next doctor then. You'll be buzzing.
I like Dr. Lee, he's all right. When Tilk and Braytek got dressed up to go back to
Wherever they went.
Chulak?
Wherever they went.
Did they go to Chulak?
I don't know.
Yeah. I must return to Chulak. Yeah, that's right.
Because
he says that.
Because didn't Ronan had a little Apophis symbol on his head.
So they go, Tilk's like, I'm going to go back just to organise some ships and try and get some soldiers. And they go back and sit in a tent.
Drinking ale.
But that's what they do best.
Dressed in their full get-up.
Classic male thinking.
Yeah.
I want to get shit done, but first I want to be with the boys.
Tilk always does that when he goes away from SG-1. Just chilling with the boys.
As soon as they got through the gate, Tilk would have turned to Brad and go, oh, God, thank God we're out of there.
Thank God you came in. I thought I was stuck there with that bitch.
He must just hate Earth alcohol, because if you notice, he never drinks. Like when we saw it in 2010 and they all had the champagne glasses, he had orange juice. When they're all chilling out at Jack's and they've all got beers and Daniel's doing his funny drunk stuff, Tilk's drinking like, cranberry juice or something like that. But every time he goes to hang out with the Jafar, he's drinking whatever they're drinking.
Yeah.
So he must just not develop a taste for
Jafar juice.
Yeah, he loves his Jafar juice, but Earth alcohol.
And then some random
all alcohol on Earth is light beer to him. Why bother?
I will not drink cat piss. But then, some random Jafar comes in and goes, I've got a ship, but I'm coming with you.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, that guy's a traitor.
Yeah, I know.
Like straight away.
But,
like,
I mean,
you just say no. I'm
you
taking
are
your
conditioned to that because every time Braytak and Tilk chill out in a tent, the next person who comes in betrays them.
He's always a betrayer.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A for plot, but B so also Braytak can say, I have been betrayed.
Yeah.
With a knife sticking it in. That was hectic.
That was a good
I
fight
believe he
too.
stabbed him. I'm like, shit.
I totally forgot for some reason that he didn't have a symbiote.
Oh, really?
At that moment. I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, so he gets his symbiote and he goes, I have no symbiote. I'm like, that's right.
Good
See, I
little
thought he
reveal.
stabbed him in the side of the.
That's what it looked like to
stomach?
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they
I didn't
normally
think he
have
got him
that
in the
little.
pouch.
They normally have that little bit of armor like across the pouch. So, yeah, it looked like a sort of side, like a
That's
kidney
what I
shot to me
thought.
as well.
And then when he goes, I don't have a symbiote, I was like, okay, he stabbed him in the pouch.
yeah.
And then as soon as he goes, you are weak, old man, I'm like, oh, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, and apparently.
He might not be a good judge of character, but he is a warrior.
He's a lethal weapon.
Apparently, Tony Mandola fought for that beat too. That beat when he says that, and Tony just kind of looks up and gives him the "you're f***ed" look.
Yeah.
Like Tony's like, you have to keep that in.
Yeah,
That's
you
Braytak's
gotta.
whole moment to like summon the strength to whip this boy's ass.
Yeah.
And teach him a thing or two.
What was weird, though, the close-up where he did that massive smile after O'Neill let those glowing jellyfish out of the hole.
That was a
big smile. I'm like, oh, that's too big.
Yeah, that was on a Jonas level of shit-eating grins. That one.
Yeah. Just needed the whole braid sack, like, yes,
Yeah.
you did it, O'Neill. Like,
But,
nod of approval.
A bit of housekeeping on the guy that played Ronan, the betrayer. He was for any of those watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He was
No one is.
He was Alexander Rozhenko, Worf's son.
Jesus. It's definitely
Season
one.
6.
What?
I'll take it.
Wolf's son.
Worf's son in DS9. You haven't watched
Ah.
DS9.
I was like,
he
the
grows
other
up.
one died
Oh, spoiler alert.
from the original series.
Oh,
from
sorry.
next
I forgot I'll
gen.
never watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just a way to get him to shut up.
Alexander.
Yeah, the actor who played the little
Didn't
boy
work.
died.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, a different actor takes over the role. All grown
Right.
up. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Pretty hectic when Anubis sent in that mothership and a few gliders, and then they're like, "Oh, they're not attacking us. Send them in. Just do a light attack." And then he just blew up 3 battleships, and then that commander on the or the captain of the ship or whatever on the radio. He's like, oh, a beam just come out of nowhere. Holy, another ship died. And I'm like, he's just watched like 2,500 people die on 2 other ships. And he just says, holy.
Yeah.
Dude, swear a
PG,
little.
mate.
Well, yeah.
You're about to die. Like, don't let your last word be holy.
Yeah, wouldn't that suck?
Unless there's a Chinese guy there and he had called Lee and he had a hole in him.
Holy.
Apparently, in the movie script, you were supposed to see all that,
No, I get it.
Yeah, good.
but they didn't have the money, so that's what was all just done over the radio. They originally wanted to film all that, like Al-Kesh coming down and actually taking out a whole.
Yeah, because I didn't
battlefront.
really get it because you're hearing something's happening and you're like, where is that coming from? And I'm like, they didn't even tell them
Yeah.
that it's from orbit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
smacks of,
That's a dog
not
move.
having
What
enough
pissed
money.
me off as the president the whole time. Oh, I better get my speech ready. Oh, they're attacking. No, they got the power out. Oh, so much for my speech. I'm like, dude, what the people are dying around you.
I'm
Calm
a really
down, Scott Morrison.
great talker. The American people love my
Yeah.
voice.
Well, in the movie, apparently, his speech would have gone out eventually, and it would have made the Stargate program public because it was going to be sort of the ending.
Yeah.
But obviously, they don't do that. They kind of
Let them die.
yeah,
in
they skip that part
wonder.
over. Yeah.
Where's Will Smith when you need him?
How was it with when they're all hanging out in Jack's place, and Carter brings up his ex-wife? He's like, "Do you talk to her much?" She's like, "Let's
can
not
we
talk about
not
that.
talk about that?
Can we not talk about
Yeah.
that? Can we not?"
And then later
Why
on,
have a photo of her in your fucking house then if you don't want to think about it?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
up on the wall, big one up on the wall, with his dead son. Was Charlie in the photo?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know. Especially afterwards, she's like, "Sir, when I was at your house, before the other two, sort of come and cock-blocked me, I was gonna say, yeah, I know." And I'm like, "Hang on. So, what were you gonna say?"
Was there a moment
was-
there though?
And
I think there was an actual moment when they busted in.
No, not really. No,
It's just about to be.
Yeah, and mate, that's the thing. It's like, hang on. So your lead-in, your icebreaker moment before you cracked onto me was going. So, the old ex-wife in the photo, how much do you talk to her?
From 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Just want to know what I'm up against. Do you still talk to your ex-wife? Do you still bang? What's the go there?
I can get really jealous in the next 3 days.
Because Amanda Tapping does call that the almost kiss moment. They called it, the way she was playing it, they were about to kiss, and then Jackson and Teal'c knock on the door. But here's this. Do you reckon that...
Hey, remember your dead son and your failed marriage? Want a kiss?
Yeah. I was trying to figure out the logistics of that, though, and like what was a lie and what was a truth. Because I kind of bought that Sam rocked up on her own, and then she's like, I was driving around and I kind of just drove here. And she was kind of compelled to go and see Jack because she knew he was going to die. So she was going to kind of, give all her feelings and stuff. And then when Jackson and Teal'c rock up, they're like, Jackson, we were driving by and we saw Sam's car. But it's almost like he was surprised when he came around the corner. He was surprised to see Sam there because he's like, are we interrupting something?
Yeah.
But Sam's car was already there, and Teal'c had donuts.
Yeah,
So
I think they all, like, individually, when I say individually, obviously Daniel and Teal'c together, but they...
once they finish their workout, they're like, let's go get some donuts.
I think they all individually wanted to just go over just to say goodbye to him, pretty much.
Yeah, but then that ties into like the dick move that Daniel did, and I'm not one to pile on Daniel, but I feel like if it wasn't orchestrated that way for them to let Sam go there first and then show up later, and they just happened to arrive early, it's like Jack's dying. He's only got a couple of days to live. Jackson invites Teal'c to go and see Jack. Doesn't invite Sam.
Or the other version of that.
So I was just trying to rectify that in my brain.
Imagine if it was true where he did drive by and go, her car's there. And he's went, hey, Teal'c, you know the other two people that we work with that have kind of always had this thing where they just really want to each other, but they can't. And
he's about to
he's
die.
got like 3 days to live.
So if they're ever going to do it, it'd be now.
We don't know that she was coming over. But now we've driven past and he's at home for the weekend and she's went off for the weekend and her car. Do you want to totally just drop in and see what the is happening?
Well, just knock on the door, see if they...
Were they going out?
If you can't have a route, no one can.
Were they going out for just a donut run for Teal'c, and now Teal'c's got to share his donuts with everybody?
Yeah.
I need to know. These are things I need to know.
I want to see the scene where Teal'c's driving, because Teal'c's going to drive. Teal'c drives up O'Neill's driveway.
In an Escalade.
Daniel's holding the box of donuts, and then Teal'c just comes up, and Daniel's like, there's Carter's car. And then Teal'c just pops it in reverse and drives back the out. He's like, I'm going to cockblock this guy.
Yeah. I ain't trying to be about that.
Yeah, he's got to get to Pound Town.
He's
I'm out of
making
here.
the most of his
I'll
last
see him
days.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hang on, Daniel. So what you're suggesting we do is go in there and he's about to finally put one in and we're going to stop that, but then present him with a bunch of fucking holes to eat. Like, you can't put your end in that hole, but here, have this one.
Punch this donut.
Yeah, I wonder what would have happened there. What about Pete?
Oh, yeah, she's still dating Pete. I totally forgot about Pete.
Maybe that was what she was hoping for. She's like, so your ex-wife, do you talk to her much? She goes, what about Pete? And she goes, Pete who? And he's like, can we not talk about that? She scripted the whole thing in her head. It was going to be so awfully cheesy, and she loved it, and he just like, can we not? She's like, okay, damn it. I'll just drink this not at all cold beer. Fine.
How funny was
Guinness,
drunk Daniel?
That was
warm Guinness.
So
Oh my
Guinness,
God.
yeah.
It's refreshing, is it though? Warm Guinness?
I prefer it instead of food.
Fair enough.
That's funny.
It's the perfect analogy. Burns as Gould.
That's so
They are
funny.
merely animated characters, O'Neill.
You're so shallow. Oh, please. Teal'c's like one of the deepest people I know. He's so deep. Come on, tell him how deep you are. You'd be lucky if you understand this.
My depth is immaterial to this conversation.
Oh, you see? No more beer for you.
Probably just had half a beer.
such a good moment.
What have you had, Daniel? Like one beer?
Yeah.
When Teal'c is on the radio. Can you hear us, Teal'c? Loudly and clearly. I was like, it's so funny. He's trying to use the lingo.
Yeah.
Loud and clear? No. Loudly and clearly.
Got to Teal'cify it.
Atlantis on Earth the whole time?
Was
just
it though,
Under
buddy?
Antarctica.
Well, she said it's just an outpost. Daniel said it's just an outpost.
Yeah, right at the end. He goes, the dome's too small.
Yeah.
It's just an outpost.
So originally in the movie,
Oh,
when they were going to finish the series, Atlantis was going to be in Antarctica.
Right.
But because Sci-Fi said, we want to run concurrently with SG-1 and SGA, Brad Wright has gone, oh, shit, we need to change that. So I'm not going to say why, but it's not there anymore.
We'll talk about it in a couple of episodes' time.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, basically...
So they just had to go get the power device, come back to use the weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the other one was depleted.
Yeah, right.
The Z/ZPM.
It was so cool, though, like that whole journey of... Because it's almost like a subplot, in a way, of Jack getting the knowledge and everything in between. They're going to Proclarush Teonas. He finds the address. They can't get there because there's no gate. They have to fly there, thanks to Tilk and Braytak. He just packs everything that he needs. He's like, Carter, just grab a Naquita generator. And just like, what are you doing? I don't know, Daniel. He's like, just do it.
Like, I hate how they just stand around and look surprised. Like, he's going to do this.
Yeah.
Just do what he says. Ask him if he needs help.
They just can't believe how smart he is.
Are you okay? What are you doing? Like, you know what's going to happen. Just do it. Hurry up.
And then he just, once they're in that kind of lava dome, he just sits on the chair and then
gets to
the
work.
Force field comes up and you're like, oh my God.
It like
so awesome.
Zooms in. And they had the Earth, like, however many millions of years ago, like pre-continental drift.
Pangea or whatever it was.
I'm like,
yeah.
Terra Atlantis.
Awesome.
Terra Atlantis.
You're
Now,
saying it's there the whole time?
Why did we come here?
now, Brendan, I've got a little surprise for you. We've been waiting we've heard 7 seasons of you, complaining about Robert C. Cooper's writing.
Yeah.
And how you don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, finally in this episode, we have an audio commentary starring Martin Wood, director, Amanda Tapping, and one Robert C. Cooper,
Oh, good.
writer of this episode.
Looking forward to it.
Co-writer of this episode, who is an absolute handbrake in the entire audio commentary.
What else is there?
I've had to edit around it so much, but
How the f*** did he get there?
but what he does is finally acknowledges his own bad writing.
Oh, love it.
There's a little hole in the story in that last scene that becomes apparent.
Grab a Naquita generator, will you?
The name of the planet that Daniel translates is Proclarush Teonas, right, which he translates as meaning lost in fire, right? And then that turns out to be the spelling of the name of the planet in the symbols on the gate. But you have to ask yourself, if you think about it too much, which I shouldn't be encouraging you to do. Why would the ancients have named the planet Lost in Fire until after it was lost in fire?
That's true.
In which case, it's kind of a weird name.
Well, I can't do this anymore if that's the kind of whole
Didn't think of that one until after we saw the show. It was too late. to
Maybe
change.
it was renamed after the fact.
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, but they
So
already
who was that
they already
talking?
assigned the
That
symbols.
was Robert Cooper. That's Robert C.
right.
Cooper.
They already assigned could be all right if they changed it after, but the symbols
Yeah.
they can't change where it
those,
is.
if those symbols
Yeah.
They would have had to
mean
change
those
symbols
sounds.
on the
Yeah.
gates.
That's just what it means in the new dialect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
what it
guess
is.
so.
Yeah.
Well, way back when they
it's Cooper,
described they called it the lost city. They're like, no, it's not the lost. It was they didn't lose the city. They made it lost for everyone else. So I guess they could go, hey, this is gonna be the lost planet, the lost city.
This
so
is the clue to get here.
We're gonna name it Lost in the Fire because we're gonna make it lost.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I'm happy if he's confused at what he wrote himself. I'm sick with that. I don't need to fill in the gaps for him.
Oh yeah, O'Neill. Man, when Braytak got stabbed and he's like, I don't think I can win this battle. I'm like, holy they're killing off Braytak. This is, and I was a little upset because like immediately I'm like, remember when he went missing in that last episode? And they're like, oh, Braytak's dead, and I'm like, well, no, because if he's dead, they'll make something out of it. And in this one, like my mind flashed back to that, and I'm like, shit, they're making something of it right now. He's gonna die. Oh, this is hectic. I was a little disappointed when O'Neill saved him. Because I was like, I wanted it to be a moment, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, if he died, then you never would have got that shit-eating grin either. So it would have been a double bonus.
Yeah. But yeah, that was...
what was he doing when he left? Because once they've dug the hole in Antarctica, he goes, all right, I'll go to a safe distance. He's just sitting there watching the battle. In his cargo ship.
Yeah, I mean, the cargo ship's got no weapons. So maybe he cloaked and is just sitting in the corner just checking it out.
He's just watching everyone fight.
Yeah.
He basically is.
Waiting to pick him back up again.
Yeah.
Like, I love how...
Granddad waiting in the car park at this concert, waiting for the kids to come out.
I love how mind-blown Teal'c was too when Jack, got the power to heal. Teal'c seemed to be like the most like pumped about, the most just like blown away. He's like, it's the healing power of the ancients. He's a god.
You are my god.
Yeah.
It's fate.
Yeah, O'Neill gets bloody frozen to come back and fight Dr. Evil in the future. That was hectic,
Damn,
man.
well, there's the giveaway for season 8. You've spoiled yourself.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Big boy's back, sir.
But yeah, that was pretty hectic when it started freezing and Jackson's like, he translates it to goodbye. And then they're all just standing there. I'm like, holy shit, that's a hectic goodbye.
Yeah.
Like even Carter's like, holy shit, is this real? This like right now? And then he just freezes. I'm like, what the
And he freezes staring at
just
Sam
Han
too.
Solo'd him.
Yeah.
They totally have, haven't they? Yeah, they've totally.
I know. You said that already.
Yeah, that was hectic, man. Because I thought it was just going to like take the ancient out of his head.
Yeah, right.
Then I'm like, oh, okay, put it back to normal, all that. But now he's just frozen. I'm like, at least he can have some time off now.
Yeah.
But when he comes back, he's got to look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Let alone haven't had a pee in 7 days.
President, I thought he was good in some parts, but also pissed me off. And the part where he really got to me, apart from, last episode when he first got into the Oval Office, he's like, it's my first day. But when Anubis come down as the hologram, I noticed Hammond straight away got up and ran like a pussy. like full George Costanza, like pushing women and children out of the way. He was gone. And then the president sort of ducked away and they're all shooting him. Oh, it's just a hologram. But then he now the president gets some balls. Oh, now that you can't hurt me, you won't kill us. And he's like, I'll destroy you. No chance. And all this America shit.
Yeah. And it was very convenient for Anubis to choose where he sort of, hologrammed in, and for like the coffee table in between the two couches to already be gone, so that Hayes could stand there like on the American president's seal and stand up to Anubis. And it's just like, a little bit convenient.
But how did Anubis know what country is the best, and then where the best guy lived in the best country?
Yeah.
Was that from Jonas's mind?
Do you run the world? I'm the president of the United States of America.
Nation of many. Many what? Many people under me. That's how many.
Yeah, good chat.
Many nations.
I hated it how they're like
he didn't go to the UN.
Given the rundown, like this serious rundown should be in a war room deep below ground, but they're just sitting on this couch in the Oval Office telling him what the this is how the invasion's going. I'm like,
totally be in the situation room.
Ugly couches.
But what I didn't get is how Anubis knew where to hologram himself down into the underground, underneath Antarctica. How they opened it up and he's like in there. He's like, you're too late.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of figured
if he knew where it was, why didn't he just go in there, blast it open?
I guess because they had to drill the hole. That's what I was wondering too, because Anubis's first prime says there's a ship in the southern pole.
Yeah,
so they're
right.
kind of looking in that
there.
direction. Then it just stayed statically there until they drilled down into the outpost.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, so and then maybe he couldn't teleport there or whatever it is until SG-1 dug the hole. That's the only thing
I guess, he would have. The Prometheus, I guess, saved the day. I was just thinking Anubis could have like just blasted the ice with his big off guns.
Yeah.
But Prometheus was in the way, and then straight away Hammond's like, all right, just go straight for it.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering too, when Hammond left his post to go at the ship. It was almost like all it takes is one direct shot down that hole and SG-1 dead.
Yeah.
From the mothership.
Yeah, but I think the point being is Anubis, it kind of varies on what Anubis wants, whether he wants what's in Jack's brain or whether he wants what Jack's found. And I think by blasting that hole, he runs the risk of destroying either one or both of those things.
But instead, he died.
Yeah, he got his ass handed to him.
But that was a long tunnel. If you're going to get a blast down that tunnel, you'd have to use the force to sort of bend it down and go straight in. But let me tell you, O'Neill and Teal'c, hottest bromance in the galaxy.
God, yeah.
Wasn't it? And
can you understand a word I'm saying? O'Neill just turns, grabs his face.
Especially when he goes,
kiss
I want
him! That's your kiss moment.
Right?
I want to take this opportunity to, and he just touches him.
That's the Poe Finn moment where you want Poe and Finn to kiss. But here's another
grabs his symbiote.
Here's another creepy, gross thing about Robert C. Cooper. Have a listen to this.
It's a wonderful, wonderful moment.
It really is.
I'm not all that in favor of men touching other men's faces.
Homophobic.
That's your own issue, though. Right?
Yeah, that's one of my own issues.
I think that's just.
It is great.
It's a wonderful, touching moment and totally appropriate in this. In this.
Well, he can't talk.
Scene.
And it is a callback to what we just saw at the end of the first hour and a half. Or in the first.
The Jaffa also tend to do that. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but Tony, Braytac will often, touch each other's faces and be a lot more physical with each other than.
He's obviously never played a team sport.
Right. Well, you have to jerk each other off before the game.
Just to get a spot on the field.
Just easing the tension, baby.
Yeah. But I love that, that's how Robert C. Cooper had to, reconcile in his brain. He's like, oh, that was just Jack, doing something that would be comfortable to Teal'c, who's a Jafar. But human males, that'd be gross.
I love it how Amanda was just like, well, that's your problem.
Yeah, right?
Zing.
Yeah, that's your issue, buddy.
Maybe he's just a germaphobe.
Yeah.
Germaphobe.
Yeah.
And don't touch my face.
Don't touch faces.
I'm going to catch the gayness from you if you touch me.
I know what happens at the end of this episode. I'm gay.
I think I got pouch juices in my mouth. Did you notice though, just out of nowhere now, we have those anti-Cull Warrior weapons just strapped to the top of P90s now?
Yeah.
And it's...
Was that a P90, was it?
Oh, well, there was a Carter Special, and then Daniel had a P90, I think.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, Teal'c had that.
Teal'c had the P90 as well.
Yeah, so but it's basically human weapons that now have that little energy pulse, because it wasn't the bullets still doing it, they were firing standard rounds, but then also there was that little sort of light
switched.
Beam attachment coming to the
Which
top
was
of the P90s.
I think it ruined such a sick moment where O'Neill's sitting in the ancient chair, the rings come in, and you're thinking, oh, there's going to be a Jafar contingent, but there's two super soldiers there.
Dude.
I was like, oh shit!
Yeah.
This whole episode just got to the next level, and then they're just like pew pew, and you're like, oh.
Oh, and then they beam down two more, and then pew pew.
And the hallway where they came in was facing straight at O'Neill. They could have just shot him.
Yeah,
but
right in the face.
And then I think
they're not good shots.
They forgot that they could walk.
They could squat though.
They just stood there.
Did you see that?
They could peek around the corner.
Yeah,
the guy squatted, and you could really see his complete cock and balls. The cod piece just comes down as he's squatting. Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah.
He sure is a super soldier.
He was teabagging at the bottom of his armor.
Master Chief.
But yeah, they only had two Cull Warriors, 2 costumes and 2 dudes in the suits. So Martin Wood was trying to give it the effect that there was 10 of them down there. By when 2 would beam down, you could hear other Cull Warriors firing in the background, but they never bothered. They didn't have the money, I guess, to do a crowd duplication shot. So in essence, was supposed to be us up against 10 Cull Warriors.
Yeah,
but you only ever see 2 at a time.
There was only one way to ring in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what confused me. Because I get what he's doing the shot for shot, but I assume that 2 came down, they killed him, and then another 2 came down. And they killed them. And
but Wallace basically...
What happened to his army?
Yeah, that was kind of it. He didn't seem to
beam 10 of them
enough.
down. Whoever can fit in there. Not 2 at a time.
Yeah. Well, you can... Standard Jafar, you've seen them sort of ring in 6 or 8 at a time.
Yeah.
But Cull Warriors aren't that big that you can... You couldn't put in more than 2.
I just feel like either they should have made the corridor longer or something like that, or just the Cull Warriors should have got way closer.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And the weapons shouldn't have been as effective. So it was down to Jack with the drones, the glowy drone sperm things, to kill the super soldier.
Imagine if it got to the point where it's they're so close to Jack in the chair, Teal'c has to jump in hand to hand and try and fight off one of these Cull Warriors right as the floor opens up and the
they should have just
The
shit
jellyfish.
up in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's just like right when you're just hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
That's when he releases
the only thing
jellyfish.
that annoyed me about it.
Yeah.
Is that they just killed the super soldiers too easy. They're just
It's the
like
same
Jafar
thing.
now.
Same thing. Build him up to be this ultimate warrior, and then just we'll just send 4 of them in, but they'll kill him straight away. They don't cause any damage whatsoever. They just shoot the walls a couple of times.
Yeah, and it was never set up that we had these weapons on the top of our weapons now.
Yeah,
like by Death Knell, we just had that one prototype on the TER. We had a little, So yeah, it would have been nice for a little setup for that somewhere, but I guess it could have just been runtime. Maybe there was something in there setting that up, but they just didn't have time for it. But yeah, you'd think given how much how much damage they've done, even not just in Death Knell, but the other episodes like Evolution and all that kind of stuff, for Teal'c, Jackson, and Sam to all come out of it completely unscathed. Like no one copped even a shoulder hit, or anything like that. Yeah, it would have been nice. Yeah,
I think my favourite moment is when Jack has kind of expelled all his drones, and the other 3 kind of come to his aid, and it's not like. Usually if someone's down, one person will help them up, but it was the 3 of them there, and all 4 of the original SG-1 were in the shot, and I don't know, it was like a really nice team moment there, where I was like, these are the 4 guys at the end of this entire saga. They're the ones in the middle getting shit done.
Yeah.
And then you're like, Jack could die here.
Yeah.
Like, this is it.
Yeah.
It's good. Amanda Tapping apparently did have an issue with when they beam back up when they're leaving Teonas. And they ring up and there's dead Ronan and there's like dying Braytak, and Sam just kind of just steps over him straight away. Like she had a real issue with that, like that she didn't stop and check him. So if you listen really carefully, it's I think they've done it in post. You actually hear Braytak going, "Secure the ship." So that gave Carter her moment to step past him, check and see that Ronan's dead, because obviously she needed to get forward so they could fit everyone else in the frame.
Yeah, that did piss me off at the time, because when all 3 of them beamed up, and then Carter stepped over him, the other 2 just stood there looking around like, oh my god, we've never seen this shit before, or like, they're just sitting there like I'm like, help him.
Yeah,
he's dying on the ground, and you're just standing there staring around. Like,
I think it's one of those things where you sacrifice the logic of the moment to get that cool shot, because it was a cool shot. But yeah, you just kind of sacrifice the character logic to get that shot.
I like the weird thing for me in the cargo ship was the fact that the rings, usually that whole back cargo area is flat, but here the rings were risen up, but there's like a bevel.
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's right, because they need that to melt the ice or whatever, and that's what Jack does. But I forgot that they'd had it earlier before they go down to Teonas. So I'm like, it's never like that. It's so strange.
I reckon that was purely so because that's obviously their ring prop that they've used outside, like in other guys and stuff like that. I think it was purely so they could have that moment where Jack is doing stuff to the rings. Yeah. Because whereas normally, obviously there's nothing there. There's just a ring pattern on the ground, and the rest is all CG. So I reckon they've chucked that in so that they could have that little panel where Jack could get in with his little
that's what I'm saying.
line.
Like that was for that general. That was that for the only reason.
Camera.
Yeah.
I would have liked it if they had have made it flat, and then next minute you see O'Neill tinkering with it later. And it's there like he's built it almost.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Right. Or he's just got it out of the floor and
or he's opened the hatch.
Yeah, I mean they built the bloody the engine room for him to go and get the engines going faster and stuff. So it would be nice to have a little bit extra. I think that was
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they do have them.
I think that was a redress from.
It's like the answer was right here. You had everything you needed.
Yeah.
Like you literally MacGyvered the situation.
That's
you
what I was
thinking. Is crystal and where's it?
Just soldering iron.
Just give us an energy gun. See, you only need one shot. There
it unlocks padlocks. You should make it go faster.
You honestly could have done this by accident. Like that's
Carter's like, the yellow one goes out.
I just want the yellow and the red one, and then fire. She's like taking mental notes, just picturing everything, going, okay, I need to remember that for next time.
Yeah, that's funny.
And apparently, someone did that. Someone worked out the math. I read this online because they say at a point when Anubis sends his like couple of scout ships, and then when he rocks up with his big fuck-off ship, they say he's got 30 plus other Hatak there with him that all get blown up. So over 30 Hatak are destroyed in this episode. Apparently, up until this point, the total number of Hatak destroyed is 64. So we've basically in this one episode, we've destroyed almost as many Hatak as we've destroyed in the entire 7 seasons leading up to this episode.
Yeah, right.
And I'm
It's
like,
a hell of a battle.
Yeah, and I'm like watching every episode and counting how many attack we lose every single time just to get up to this point. I'm like, that's commitment right there.
Someone's got a whole lot of time.
And you compare this to the first siege that when Anubis came to Earth the first time with the 2 motherships. That was epic. Now it's just like everybody's
Apophis.
there. Sorry, what did I say?
Anubis.
Oh, yeah, I meant Apophis.
Yeah, I thought
like
you
back
did.
in, right.
Serpent's Grasp or whatever it was, yeah.
I was just like, wow, this is just...
Yeah.
And that was the last invasion of Earth. You know, like if you don't count
ships,
the
asteroid.
Yeah. And I'm like, why did it take so long for them to come? Really?
Yeah. They knew where it was.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
Mr. Braytac, it's Master.
Master
Braytac. That was excellent.
And that
you
was
would call him Master. Thank you.
That was almost a little callback to like Supreme Commander as well.
Yeah.
It was Kinsey again.
That was good.
I like that moment where they shut him up, where they were in the Oval Office and Hammond's in there going, look, this is his tactics, all right? This is what he's going to do, and I think he's just showing us, he's testing us, and if we go off and try and kill his scout ships now to sort of show that we have got some defenses, he's going to know we haven't got the big defenses, and blah. And like Kinsey just had an answer for everything, and they cut back to him at one point where he literally couldn't argue with, and he just sort of like rolls his eyes. It's like, okay, yeah, obviously he's right. Like I can't even it's like the sky is blue. Oh really? It looks blue to you?
It's only because God lets you see blue.
It's like he didn't even have a God answer. Like
God made it blue.
Last week when he had those moments where like he was arguing points, like, okay, I can see how that could be a logical argument, rebuttal, whatever, and then you get to the moment where he's like, well, on God's green. You know, it's like, all right, so you're in a corner, you whip out the old G card. Okay.
Wasn't that O'Neill? He's like, O'Neill's like, oh, they're going to get invaded. And then Kinsey's like, no, we're not. You're just making it up. And then later on, he's like, yeah, and O'Neill caused this massive invasion. And O'Neill's like, I thought you didn't believe in the invasion. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, Kinsey was the one who were, like, pushed to suspend gate activity. And then when the invasion happens, he's like, oh, I'm going to use the gate to get off Earth.
Yeah.
And like, oh, okay, so it's okay to use the Stargate now. He's
such a coward.
I see now.
Like, you've hated him before because he's just been such an asshole, but now he's a coward to add on to that.
He's just a self-serving
desperate coward.
So good.
I bet he's left his wife and his dog too.
Oh yeah,
great to do that.
He's already got another backup pair on the beta side.
Yeah, totally.
That's what I liked when Woolsey was sitting there last episode with that General Maynard Francis, and they're like going at the president like toing and froing, and I was just like, Maynard would be sitting there going, if you didn't have a position of power, like all you do is answer to Kinsey, but that's enough for you to like feel like you're superior. But if that wasn't, and you and me were hand to hand, I would just snap you. Like you're lucky there is
100%.
titles in the world.
I've thought about that at work many times.
I would kill my boss, rip his throat out with my teeth.
Oh, something we missed when we were...
The only reason I'm not doing it's because it's illegal. Is the only reason.
Something I missed when we were talking about Hammond is we didn't get quite the yeehaw moment from Hammond, but
I was waiting for something like that.
We did get something I think almost as good, and I think potentially it would have been great if this was the last like line of the episode, because it could have potentially been the last line of the series.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of Hammond's best.
What the hell was that? That was SG-1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like 9 halves right there. Because that's a good way to sum up the series. It's like, the final episode. What was that? That was SG-1. Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
SG-1 available on DVD. Like that's made for a trailer right there.
All 7 seasons now available on DVD.
Yeah. Hammond's a badass, man.
Yeah, it was so good.
Love him.
So what'd you think, Rhys? We teased it back in Window of Opportunity back in season 4. On IMDb, it's rated a 9.5 out of 10. Tied with Lost City Part 2 on a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I got to say Lost City's better than Window of Opportunity.
It's a different animal. You can't... Like, Lost City is just a combination of everything. And, Window of Opportunity is clearly the best standalone, but when you're talking about the entire series, this takes the cake.
Well, it's funny. Lost City Part 1 is actually like the 4th, because it's only at a 9.1. Whereas Fifth Race is at 9.3.
Yeah.
So Fifth Race is actually the third best rated episode on IMDb.
Yeah.
I mean, you
understandable.
Like this podcast, I don't think you can split them.
It
I think
is.
it's the
splitting,
biggest-
splitting hairs, isn't it?
Yeah, like all those impact episodes where you just like, holy shit, like this is just everything sort of adds up to this moment, and then obviously you carry on from that, trying to add up to another moment. So I guess it's at those moments throughout the series where you're like, yeah, that is a perfect episode to sort of round up what we've seen so far, and then the next perfect episode, that's an epic episode as well. Obviously, there's a few of those throughout the series, but yeah, this one, I think, obviously the whole arc of 7 seasons so far.
Yeah,
just
it's
awesome.
perfect.
And how lucky would you be when the president is finished with Weir in his foot? He's like, oh, is my 5 minutes up? Oh, I gave you 7. And he kicks her out and he goes, Barney, good to see you again, and invites like that extra in. She's a contest winner. So she's just she's a fan. They started doing it, I think, this season and keep going it. She entered a competition to get a walk-on role in Stargate, and
awesome.
she won. And
she did look very, very happy.
When she gets to be in this episode. I mean, she didn't get to do anything with SG-1, but to even say you were in this episode as a fan of Stargate would be so cool.
In the Oval Office, it's not bad.
Yeah, in the I'd be happy because I'd be in the X-Men set. I was like, oh my god, I'm in the X-Men 2 set. Yes,
Nightcrawler was here.
Nightcrawler was here.
Yeah, I remember they did that for season 8. I can't remember. I must have not applied. Obviously, they would have picked
Had
me.
to be an American citizen.
Yeah, but it was just like, oh man, that would be so good. I think there was a desert one where you could go.
Desert would be pretty.
Oh, end of season 8.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Yeah, actually, I think I do remember you saying, there's some people in burkas in the background. Yeah,
I remember you could apply.
It's your fault that Stargate SG-1 gets in trouble for brown facing because like you're in the desert. It's like, hang on a second, that's a Caucasian man.
Yeah.
He's just been
just in brown face background going, Bundy way. Like, mate, you're on the wrong planet.
I mean, the president did get a little handsy when he said goodbye to Weir, and he's like, "Thanks, Barney." And he's like, sort of, casually a hand on the shoulder, and I'm like, "Oh,
taps on the ass. Get out of here, you rascal!"
That wouldn't happen. And it was like a couple of moments, and I'm like, "Oh, this show would get in trouble for for no reason, but people would find a reason like that would not fly today."
I'm surprised he didn't grab her on the pussy.
No, what would have been great?
Obviously, that's
the
fine.
power. You just do it.
Grab her by the pussy.
Yeah. No, what would have been great is if it was done now and it was like it was a like a Trump impersonation. It'd be as he's taking Weir out, he's going, "Get out of here, you little rat bag," and then as Bonnie's coming, he goes, "Come on in, sugar tits." Yeah.
They love it. They
just
love
does 2 in 1.
You rat bag.
Come on in, sugar tits. Let's talk about washing machines and what you think about them.
The other two were like when
take my dinner order.
When Braytek showed up, and like you said, he didn't shake her hand. Like that 2020, that'd get called, or 2019 especially.
Yeah.
That'd get called. That's why he didn't shake her because she's a woman. It's like no. It was an authority figure replacing an authority figure that he was familiar with.
That he didn't respect.
But it was a man and a woman. And then when Daniel first met Weir and was sort of like, "Hey, yeah, nice to meet you, but this is kind of bullshit, this whole thing." And I don't know what she said about the whole process. He's like, "Yeah, but you're replacing a great man." And I'm like, I feel like today you'd have to emphasize great.
Yeah.
Or you're replacing a great man.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, like you could say the way that I like.
It makes me so sad that you're right.
But because
it's like the whole point of what Daniel was saying.
Fine line. He goes, he's a great person. He's a great
he's not
human.
a military
No.
Yeah, because he says rank aside, he's a great man, meaning he's a great human being. He's a great person.
Oh, rank aside, he's just a great man. And you're just
It's called great man, not great lady.
You're so right.
I know, it sucks, doesn't it? God damn it, world. Fix yourself up, for Christ's sake.
Oh,
know when
very
something is wrong and know when it's not. It's
interesting that we're finally at the end of season episodes now where they wrap it up. And there's more seasons, so you're just like, where to from here?
Yeah, but it's like
this,
not a huge cliffhanger like season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4. Yeah, season 4 was Exodus. So there's all these like big cliffhanger episodes.
Yeah,
it's great to get an awesome 2-parter that you can enjoy as one thing without having to switch DVDs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but then there's enough for it to then push on to next season because you're like, what's going to happen with Jack?
And basically,
What's gonna
it's a
happen with
great
Hammond?
setup for Atlantis because this is what Atlantis is. It's more technologically based than it is ancient Egyptian based.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they're
Yeah,
going to spin
right.
off onto that area, whereas SG-1 kind of keep this line.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I noticed they did a mid-season break in this one as well. Just looking at the dates they were released after Evolution Part 1, which went to air August 2003, and then
They have the
that was
hiatus.
on Sci-Fi, and then it started airing on 2 different channels, Sky and Sci-Fi or something.
Sky's in England.
Yeah, Sky's the American. That's Sky 1 in the UK, and then
Right, 'cause
Sci-Fi is the American
It
one.
would release on Sky before it released on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, because Sci-Fi would do that thing that I hate, which is the mid-season break, where they do a cliffhanger at the halfway point, and then you have to wait 2 months for it to come back. Whereas in the UK, they'd be like, that we're just going to keep playing. So they would start playing. And then,
so Evolution Part 1 aired on Sci-Fi in August 2003, and then December 2003 it was on Sky, then 3 weeks later it was on Sci-Fi, but then every week after that it would air. I don't know whether they've just aired it on a Thursday on Sky and then a Sunday on Sci-Fi, whatever. But it got released days earlier in England.
You're right.
Yeah. And it does, the one downside to Stargate moving forward is it does become a little bit formulaic in that this is the last season to have 22 episodes. From this point on, both Atlantis and SG-1 and even Universe all drop down to 20 episodes per season. And they do like 10 episodes, like mid-season break, which is a cliffhanger, and then another 10 episodes on the back end. Which is one of the things I hate about like modern television is I hate that mid-season break thing.
Yeah.
And now it's weird with the streaming services because you'd think, they could do whatever they want, but then they actually just compact it into 8 to 12 episodes per season, which I kind of like because they're going to be they are an hour because they don't need ads anymore. But they also it's hard to do a standalone episode with these streaming services.
Well, it's like a mini-series, really, right? Like you used to get your mini-series, which is just a 7 or 8 episode story, basically.
Yeah.
Which I loved them because there's no bullshit. There was no, we need filler. It was just all either
The thing I like
good
about
storyline or good action.
SG-1, though, is that you can just pop on a standalone at any moment and just watch it.
Well, and
it's
that was
a standalone episode.
But if it was 8 episodes, you'd just binge the whole thing.
I know.
Yeah, well, that was a lot of the criticism that The Mandalorian got in those middle episodes because they were expecting to be quite a modern take in that it was each episode built on the last one to a climax. But Favreau intentionally was like, no, I want these little standalone episodes in the middle. You know, it's not filler or anything like that. It's just world building. It's just these little one shot stories that people were they didn't know that going in, so they were very critical of them. They're like, I don't understand. And I was the same until I kind of read that. I was like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense now.
Yeah, but you've only got 8 episodes to do it. That's what I mean. It's hard. You piss people off. If it's like 20 episodes, you can handle a couple of standalone.
And I reckon, with Mandalorian as well, it sort of whoops with people's perception because it is live action and they were only 32-minute episodes, a lot of them. So you think if you're seeing something, a very big story, and there's a lot of money on screen, or even if there was a lot of budget behind the show, you kind of expect it to be a Game of Thrones, like, I want to see a lot of money, a lot of special effects, and an hour-long story rather than give me what they did in the Clone Wars for 22 minutes. They stretched it out to 32 for a live action, and people were just like, hang on, no, I need more screen time. And I was the same. I was critical of the filler episodes. I'm like, it's been one filler. Oh well, next week.
I think it's because you didn't get to binge it.
Well, yeah, and Favreau was very articulate on that. It's funny, like everyone's so used to binging stuff now, having everything in one hit. Favreau kind of wanted to go back to the old days where, because it's kind of based on spaghetti western, he wanted to be, no, you get one episode a week and you've got a week to marinate on that episode, whether it's an arc building episode or whether it's just a standalone.
And I hope that he wanted that, but I reckon that's got to be a business decision too, because you think for like all the people that I know that Disney. Are like, for Disney, it's like, well, do you wait, especially if you're a Star Wars fan, do you wait 8 weeks? And try to not read spoilers and then just get your free trial week, binge it in a night and go sweet? Or are you going to pay 2 months worth, which it's only going to be like $12 or $14 or something?
But no, that was definitely very very precise and in the way they did that, because no spoilers for Rise of Skywalker, but they specifically moved an episode of The Mandalorian, which introduces an aspect of something that can be done in the Star Wars universe that is done in an episode that came out because they moved
Episode 7, yeah.
Yeah, 2 days before Rise of Skywalker drops, where that same thing happens in
you could do that in all the old games and stuff too. That didn't shock me.
Yeah. Oh, well, and apparently something that, just to get off on some bit more Star Wars, but something that blew my mind was apparently there's a big thing in the crawl of Rise of Skywalker that we don't get to see. It was premiered on Fortnite. Or something.
It wasn't. It wasn't in the crawl. It was
something alluded to in the crawl.
It was more of a prologue. It was more of an opening part of the story that they go, nah, let's tighten this up. And it was, they released the audio on Fortnite or something. Yeah, I know we're being careful for obviously our audience, but Rhys hasn't seen Rise of Skywalker. I haven't even seen episode 7, the episode we're talking about, of Mandalorian. I've still only seen episode 6.
Mandalorian.
Right, so like we're
waiting to binge.
But that's the thing. So like, I think Game of Thrones is such a good water, like just on the whole streaming, because I reckon we can tie this back into Stargate, because this obviously was delivered to us week to week. If Stargate comes back, how many episodes do we want, and how quickly do we want it? Do we want to be able to Netflix drop it on Friday?
Gatewell dropped a tweet or an article that potentially it could go on Apple Plus, Apple TV,
Apple TV Plus,
streaming.
Because they,
is theirs a Plus?
Because the Apple TV is their device. So they go, oh shit, we can't.
Oh, we
get
Apple TV, better do a Plus as well.
Yeah, just in case people go Disney Plus or is it Apple TV? It's Apple TV Plus. Give us your money.
I don't think there was any rumors in that, was there? It was just
I think it was more
them putting we want Stargate back on something. Apple needs.
And the thing with Apple, when Apple launched
Apple
TV Plus launched, they had 6 programs.
Yeah,
that was it. I think they've since dropped more, but they don't, like Netflix obviously have a lot of shit. Disney have their own catalog. They bought another studio to have more back catalog. Amazon are pumping in hundreds of millions of dollars like Netflix into their own
Disney
content
still
and
hasn't
own their
got,
other shit.
For me,
but have you got
still,
Stan?
Yeah,
great people.
I think what that tweet alluded to is
we don't need Stargate anywhere else.
What that tweet alluded to is apparently the rumor is that Apple have approached MGM for exclusive rights to all their content, and then that tweet has put
much
it
like
together.
Disney
have they though?
Type thing.
Yeah, well, that's what led to it, and then that's where the next step has been. Well, MGM owns Stargate, so we're getting Stargate. That's sort of the jump that they've made.
And it would be
Stargate, but
I reckon. Yeah, I wonder for Apple as a business going, well, we haven't got a lot of original content, and if they bought it, Stargate would then be an Apple TV Plus original, much like when Netflix buy the rights to something after 3 seasons, it becomes a Netflix original series.
It's Netflix's Daredevil. And
so.
Yeah, I don't want it to become that.
It would make
it'd make sense.
Captain
America.
Yeah, it'd make sense for Apple to do that because it's a known property. Like you want to bring, want something with
MGM
fans.
need the money.
Yeah,
they could use it.
MGM want the money. Apple want a program where they could go, hey, here's 17 seasons of a TV show. Bang. Yeah. We own this and we haven't had to make it for a cent. We've just bought it. We didn't make any of it. Now we're going to make some new stuff. And they might only have to make 8 episodes per year or 2 telemovies or something. But I feel like I would still want
subscribers.
Yeah.
Like I love, as much as it might be a creative choice by Favreau, and I love Favreau for Mandalorian dropping it once a week, and for a business thing it's far more beneficial for Disney to have it once a week because you don't want to be spoiled, better pay now. Game of Thrones, really, like, while Netflix was crushing it with dropping content on a Friday going, you want all 13 episodes? Bang, have a good weekend.
Yeah.
No one talks about that show 2 weeks later sort of thing. Like, fans are, but, like, the world isn't. Whereas Game of Thrones, everyone's fucking talking about that for 2.5 months because something big happens, you're talking to everyone you know for the next 7 days about what's going to happen.
Plus, like you said, it's bigger and better.
Yeah.
You can't compare Mandalorian to Game of Thrones. I think.
Oh yeah.
Not yet.
I think the money. I mean, big as far as like money. That was the thing. Like Game of Thrones was, it's twice as long duration time, but they were still chucking in $10 million an episode for Mandalorian. It had a 100 million. That was the thing. 100 million for the season. It was more than that. It was 100 million for the season. There was only 8 episodes.
I don't think it's worth 100 million. To be honest, it's great because it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Like so many Star Wars titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not the best.
But Netflix were doing $9 million an episode for Discovery, and that was an absolute dumpster fire.
You could tell that it was expensive.
They just, so much green screen.
They didn't spend much on the writers.
Well, that's what I think with Mando. Like, Mando looks crisp. Like that looks
it's pretty cool.
Great. But
except for all the the criticism that it's you got to get 20 minutes into the first episode before you see your first female character, Mitchell.
How do you know? They're all in masks.
Well, yeah, that's actually a thing. There's a whole friggin' tweet thread of people going, "Oh my god, I'm 20 minutes into the first episode of Mandalorian and not one female character."
Or all of a sudden,
because that's why I watch shows, to tick boxes,
right? Exactly.
Or that
whereas The Witcher has female characters straight up.
Yeah,
but they can't fight with swords, Matty.
Yeah,
women don't know how to fight with swords.
So
I don't even know who that. I don't even know who that bloke was.
No, me neither. But he can go and uppercut himself.
With Stargate, like I feel like I would want that as a. Give it to me like once a week. I don't know, like just because that's how I used to have it.
Or to help us because we can do the podcast.
Absolutely. We don't need a 13 episode drop and then go, oh, Christ, okay, we're in here every day for the next 3 or 4 days doing 3 episodes a day.
Yeah.
Like, we struggled enough with Origins, and that was an hour and a half long all up.
I mean, in saying that, there's been 17 seasons of Stargate. We're doing it week by week, so no big deal.
Remember when we first talked about doing the podcast, Mitch was like, what if we just did one episode about a whole season and that way we're done in like 17 episodes? And I'm thinking about now going, maybe we should have done that.
I'm glad. I'm like,
we can do it for Universe if you want.
You want to say about 5 seasons.
And I struggle to think that I even said that. I'm like, what an idiot. 3.5 years later, here we are.
Fun ride so far.
Is this the 4th calendar year for Get Into Geek?
It'll be the 5th.
I think so.
Be 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20.
No.
Yeah, and we're
in our
mid-30s.
mid-30s. This is our 5th decade that we've lived in. Like, that's how it works now. It sucks. It makes you feel so much older now. God damn it.
Well, one hell of a ride so far.
You.
Thank Christ you liked it.
Yeah.
I know we're 7 years deep.
I'm tapping out, guys.
Rhys is like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll watch it. And like, he just gets 18 episodes in going, I'm sorry. I got shit to do.
Imagine if Rhys was like, oh, look, I'll come in for the SG-1 episodes, but you guys can do the Atlantis ones on your own. I'm fine.
Well, that's still
Nearly
happen. I mean, hey, you guys might need to find a new place to record. I can come in and get, Atlantis is shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Me and Rhys are tapping out.
Yeah. Let's just finish SG-1 and go home.
That's still 18 months away if we just did SG-1.
Yeah.
The only thing I wanted to touch on else was the giant statue sculpture in the ancient planet, like missing its head. But I always wondered, what the hell was it? I want to know.
Yeah.
Did they go to Middle Earth?
It's not like the ancients. Right? It's not like the ancients to do that kind of grandiose kind of stuff, is it?
Yeah, that's true. And it gives you, the thing is, it gives you a real sense of history and universe building, much like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. That.
Yeah. Who was it? This must have been someone just looked up to, and there's a whole history there.
Given that,
was it claw feet as well?
I thought it was just like a towy Roman sandal. I thought it was towy as a Roman sandal.
Okay.
But given that, you look at Heliopolis was sort of a big deal.
Love that guy, Wog Boy.
And that was the meeting place for the 4 great races. That was a pretty sort of epic kind of building out on the cliff and all that kind of stuff. Then in 5th race, it's like we gate into just like this one little black room. We have no access to the rest of the entire planet.
Yeah, that's true.
Except for that one little room.
What was inside what that structure was made of? The 5th race one. Obviously, it's a room. What was outside of that?
Yeah. And then this one is, in this big giant, ruins, which we've never normally outside. And obviously some big, golden stone idol of someone.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
there could be a human race out there that were worshipping the ancients or something like that, but
built on top of it.
Yeah, but it just seems very anti-ancient to let people worship them.
Yeah, that's true.
As gods. So yeah, it would be good to find out what that big. Maybe it's covered in one of the books.
Yeah, that's
that we
true.
don't read. Canon.
The other thing is, I loved the fact that Daniel tried to get onto the face sucker, but Jack literally shoved him into the wall.
Yeah.
Like, who else is going to get? Who are we going to get to translate that? And I loved that little beat. But the only thing I didn't like was Daniel kept harping on about it. Like, I would have done it, and he's like, "But that's stupid.
Yeah.
Why would you do it?
Who would have translated when I go ancient? Well, let's just get Satterfield. She seems keen."
And Daniel, let's be honest, mate. You were ancient once, and you helped us nothing.
Yeah,
mate.
That's it.
Why would we give you a second chance?
You had it before.
And I feel like Jack was kind of talking everybody up because it's like he says, "In fact, you're the one person that can't do it."
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, he's like, "Carter, you're one of this planet's national treasures." It's like, well, she probably shouldn't have done it either. So, I feel like he was just boosting up Jackson's ego.
Yeah, I feel like Jackson's almost like, you're going to die if you get the ancient knowledge. I'm pretty sure I can handle it.
I've died several times.
I'll
and
just
come back.
live through it. Like, my brain's
I know
good
some
enough.
guys back up in the afterlife. I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll ascend
I'll be
and
able
I'll
to
come
keep
back and it'll all be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time for the Get Into Geek Hairy Mailbag.
I've been hit up by another Russian bot, it looks like.
Right.
Welcome to Inbox with Maddie.
Yeah. We've got some Russian or Ukrainian or something or other characters, and then Greta. And says, get into extraconversion.com, my loves. We can convert Maddie's base number into my volume, if you know what I mean. So not only is there a conversion.com...
What do you mean by that?
Just adding another spreadsheet, just adding another column to the spreadsheet.
God, yeah.
I had a look at it, and it's like conversion.com, but extra, hence the name, extraconversion.com. You can convert like energy and velocity.
Oh, so you got your normal calculator,
kind of
but then you got your science calculator
scientific,
for maths.
Yeah, you got your cos, sine, and tan buttons.
Never knew how to use those.
I mean,
I could still write boobies on it, so
That's true. Look, once our sponsorship with conversion.com drops off, I'm definitely jumping onto extraconversion.com.
Yeah, extraconversion.com.
If they want to give us some extra money.
Extra fucking cash.
Yeah, cha-ching.
Tom Woodhouse has got in contact with us on Patreon.
Tommy, TW. Wood, the
Put
big
a bet on.
wood.
Oh, man, I was hoping to get some free punting money for the old dish lickers.
The big wood.
Woody says, hey, guys. Dish lickers?
The dishies.
Oh, dish.
Yeah.
Oh, dick lickers.
Dick lickers. I don't need money for that. I'm good. I got credit.
It's free, baby.
They pay me. Woody says, hey, guys. I hope you all had a great Christmas. I'm just listening to Death Knell while taking my Christmas decorations down, and I wanted to voice my opinion on the Tritonin v Primtar thing. Personally, I always got the impression that the Tritonin does exactly the same job as Junior, but thanks to centuries of Goa'uld brainwashing, Teal'c only believed that it had made him weaker. At the end of Orpheus, when Teal'c got his mojo back, I figured that just meant he got over it and was back to being the same old Teal'c. I could be wrong, but that's the way I always saw it. Anyway, take care, guys, and have a great 2020. Oh, and sorry that your country is literally on fire. That's right, mate. It's not your fault.
Yeah, I think it's up to each individual viewer because they never actually say.
Yeah, I did email Tom back. And one of the sort of things I posited is it's like what we need to know about Tritonin is it's like, okay, so maybe when Teal'c injects with Tritonin, it puts him back up to 100% of what he was like when he had a symbiote. But it seems like he has to like inject himself every day because there's like an episode next season where he's out for a little bit and he needs his Tritonin really quickly. It seems like he's only been out for a day or so.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you don't know whether it's established. Okay, so maybe if he needs to inject Tritonin every 24 hours, maybe he's at 100% for 20 hours and then he drops off in the last 4 and needs another top up? Or is he at 100% and then he's tapering off? So as the day gets later and later, he's getting weaker and weaker until his next shot of Tritonin. So, but yeah, I agree that I think once he's taken a shot of Tritonin straight away, he's as strong as he was when he had
I was always under the impression that it probably wasn't 100%, but maybe Tritonin knocked him up to 90. And because he's Teal'c, he gets to 100.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the way I always thought of it.
That's true.
That's why he still meditates.
Yeah.
I'm Teal'c.
And because there was that thing in Orpheus where they kind of play it up where it's all mental, not physical. Like Teal'c mentally thinks he's weaker without a symbiote, but there's no proof that he's physically weaker without his symbiote. So yeah, I think they've intentionally left it as a grey area so as not to write themselves into a corner. So if they needed to do something with Tritonin in a couple of seasons' time, they you know, like with, you know, the infamous, you know, three Zat shots disintegrates. It's like we haven't seen that since like season 2 because they wrote it in season 1 and went, oh, this is the most stupidest thing we've ever done. We're never going to do more than 2 shots ever again.
But if I go swimming in the pool,
yeah.
It's pretty much diabetes. Take an injection if you're feeling unwell.
Yeah, that's why I always felt like, for me, Tritonin's weaker because he does have to take it 24/7, whereas Teal'c just used to have to do an hour of killing a ream, but now he has to sleep and take Tritonin every day. So for me, that is more of an annoyance. So it's a little bit weaker.
Yeah, it's the payoff for not having to rely on the symbiote, not be controlled by the Goa'uld.
But then theoretically, if he's out and about and he's got a little, tube of Tritonin, and does he not need to sleep and not need to, like, if he just keeps injecting himself when he gets tired or, whatever, can he just keep going so he doesn't even need to do the... Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
well, he does say earlier that because I require sleep now, blah, 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 but I still do Kelnareem.
Yeah.
Because it's sick.
Because he loves his candles. I mean, he's bought all these... Well, that's where all his pay gone. He does
use the rest of them.
He does get a couple of bucks thrown at him by the SGC every month, so he's like, he's got to spend them on something. So he's like, all right, I'll spend it on dome polish and candles.
Dome polish.
Did he buy the donuts or is that petty cash?
He probably gets reambused. Probably takes receipts and gets reimbursed. I reckon.
Fair call.
Because his sponsorship,
he doesn't get paid. So
yeah, his sponsorship with Maybelline's gone.
Yeah,
Maybelline.
No more eyeliner.
Now I've got a little something here from Kimberly Turk.
Kimbo.
She sent us an email, and I attached a little video for you guys to watch.
What?
We can put it up on our socials. Did you guys notice? This is for the episode Abyss. She says, "Did you guys notice Jonas had his tea mug attached to his belt the first time they were at the star chart? It looked like a hairdryer at first. Odd choice."
What?
Watch the video.
I didn't notice that.
Watch the video that I've little attached. We'll chuck it up on the socials. He has a little metal travel cup attached to his belt.
Oh, it's a metal one.
Yeah, like it's that classic one that he drinks out of.
It's got tea in it.
Yeah, so it's got like the handles like tucked into his belt.
That's funny.
And you
so
can
it's
see
a
the
travel mug. It's not like a military tea mug.
No, it's that travel mug. I think that's the same mug he had when he had the idea to bring the Stargate up. Was it like that's his mug? That's his drinking
hilarious.
mug. I mean, of all the shit that I've laid on Jonas over the years, I've never noticed that. So well done, Kim, for noticing that. That's brilliant.
I actually like that from Jonas. Making
use
of the handle.
I mean, he doesn't know that could be something on
He's got
Kelowna.
2 hands free to look at paperwork.
On Kelowna.
Kelowna, that could be a thing.
Yeah,
that's totally a thing.
Put your tea on your hip.
Oh, you got a holster. Oh, it's a tea holder.
That's for your gun, Jonas.
I don't carry guns. I carry tea.
And Vanessa Harris also got in touch with us on the emails. She said she's noticed a giant plot hole in 2001. She says, "Hey guys, I was listening to your podcast on 2001 and I've just realised there is no way SG-1 would even have gone to the Volian planet because it didn't have a DHD. So they would have sent a MALP and then scrubbed the mission when they couldn't find it. Because that was when they go to that planet.
But isn't it if they can't find a DHD, they take an Aqua generator with them?
I think if you spoke to one of the writers, that's what they'd say. They just do an Aqua generator.
That's generally what they do.
Would be the thing. Because
they got to get the melt back at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write that off.
Did they have the Naquita generators going on in 2001?
Yeah, well, that was season 5.
Yeah, okay.
So they had Naquita generators by that. They were still the big ones. They still, they still needed a trolley for those ones.
Yeah.
They weren't the handhelds yet. But I found that, very interesting, because they had to go to the agrarian planet for the Volians to introduce us to the Ashen, because we'd locked out the Ashen address from 2010. And that was how we got back into the Ashen spiral. So, geez, I tell you what.
I like that whole storyline. So cool.
Yeah. There's some keen eyes. I love it. So well done, Vanessa, for spotting that one. But yeah, I think Naquita generator.
Jared Steele.
Oh, Jay Steele, the Rod.
Greetings from Wichita, Kansas. I'm a lover of all.
Howdy, y'all.
Hello. I'm a lover of all things sci-fi and decided to give Stargate a go. Well, good on you, mate. Welcome. I'm a first-time watcher like Rhys and have been following along with the podcast for about 6 months.
Welcome.
I've finally caught up this week and just wanted to drop you a line to say thank you. I'm a delivery driver for a medical company, and the fun you put into my ear holes on a weekly basis makes the days go by faster. I've laughed out loud so many times in my truck that other people in traffic probably think I am crazy. If only they knew I was listening to a serious discussion about shitting through a wormhole, then maybe they would understand. A couple of things. Right. I agree with Rhys that Jonas Quinn is a fine character.
Oh, come on.
And gets a raw deal. Also, this one's for Maddie. I'm a huge Trekkie and can't wait for the new Picard series. You can go ahead and give me a that's one for that.
Absolutely, we can.
That's one. Thank you. Anyways, keep up the good work, boys, and wanted to let you know that we're thinking about you over here in the States, all the bushfires going on. Thanking you, Jared.
Cheers to the J-Rod.
Cheers, mate.
Steel Rod.
And to end the mailbag here, 5-star Apple Podcast review by Bagpuss from the United Kingdom.
On your pussy.
What?
Bagpuss. puss.
You're right.
Puss in the bag.
Cup of tea and a muffin in your puss.
It's titled the SG-69 team.
Oh.
That's us.
6-9er.
5 stars and 5 hards for this podcast.
Oh,
this is a must-listen for any Stargate fan. A perfect blend of analysis, conversation, and polite inquiry into why Cooper is allowed... Oh, sorry. Why Cooper is allowed anywhere near a pen. From low points, emancipation, Maddie...
Oh, come on now.
Do you say you like this just to wind the others up? It is...
Surely.
The complete and utter... That part is deleted by Apple.
Oh.
Apparently. Yeah.
Wow.
It is complete and utter blank.
Bullshit.
I can imagine what he wrote. Or she.
German
I'm going to
horse.
assume Bagpuss is a man.
Bagpuss. Don't assume. Got a ball bag and a puss.
And 9 hards.
Don't assume.
Grab him by the Bagpuss. To the highs.
Is it Caitlyn Jenner?
To the highs of window opportunity. I cannot have a day at the driving range without at some point yelling out, in the middle of my backswing.
Yes.
When we get to season 7 finale, here we are, Rhys is going to lose his mind, but not in an Origins way.
No.
Sorry to bring that up. Maddie, your Wikipedia knowledge of all things Stargate is staggering, but Star Trek
Keep all that in.
belongs on a different podcast.
Absolutely.
I've been asked to do a
Said
Star
that
Trek
so many
podcast.
times. The Gibson brothers remind me of my brother and me, and I would also have nailed him with the trick questions in the quiz, and then ducked as the TV remote zipped straight past my head. And Mitch, keeping it all together.
The glue. The glue.
The glue.
Flag over here.
I think what we're saying
Flag
here
Lewis.
is
Old horse.
going
Old horsey.
forward. Going
He's got
forward.
a big dick. No, he's just useless glue.
Going forward into Atlantis, maybe we give Rhys a break, and we can still do. Has Rhys been paying attention for SG-1? Maybe has Mitch been paying attention to Atlantis?
God,
Since he's the new guy. Well, let's give Mitch something for Atlantis.
I love you guys so much for being such great fans. Brilliant. Keep it up. Well, thank you, Bagpuss.
On your bag, pussy.
Thank you, bag puss. I'm never going to bag your puss.
No, oh, well, you might.
Maybe.
Oh, bag
You
is
ask
in
nicely.
Bag is in say
If you
bad
put a bit
things.
of effort
Oh,
in.
say bad things.
Yeah, bag is in say bad things.
Oh, right.
Holy Hannah.
Wowzers.
Epic.
All right. It's
time to
find
find out
if
if
Rhys has been paying attention. Trivia time for the new guy. Season 7. What a season it's been. 5
shit.
questions, 30 seconds on the clock. Time starts after the first question. Complete the following line. Up, down, charmed, blank.
Strange?
Correct.
Oh, yes.
What is the atomic weight of boron?
10.
Correct. What is the celestial body?
Oh, Uma Thurman.
Correct.
Yes.
According to Jack, what is the sound of Earth's point of origin in Ancient?
Oh, pass.
What was the name of the lava planet with the ancient outpost?
Colonnade.
Colonnade. Incorrect.
Donald Trump's in the room.
That
wasn't bad though, the colonnade. According to Jack, the sound of the Earth's point of origin symbol in Ancient is at.
Right.
What was the name of the lava planet? Proclarouche Teonas. But so close.
You were thinking of the other planet where the
where they
You were thinking of the
first
colonnades where the
lemonade from the column.
suppository was in.
That was P3 something.
Surprised myself with all 3 of those first answers.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say fat instead of 10.
I would have accepted that.
Your father made you wrong. You stupid son of a
Oh, what a
bitch.
shame we couldn't end the season on a high.
That would have been great. You
Oh,
want to
maybe
do it again?
Definitely not.
Maybe next week with the season redemption. You know, you might.
Oh, look, I feel like I'm never going to get 5 out of 5 again after that Twitter poll. I feel
He's
like,
dirty.
Oh, why wouldn't I be? Fucking horse shit.
Hey, like I've always said, Twitter's just a place for hate. So, you know.
Might have to eat.
And truth. Hate and truth.
Only when it's Ricky Gervais.
There is
Yeah.
truth in hate. All right, that is episode 152 of Get Into Gate, farewelling season 7. Well, kind of. We'll kind of touch on it a little bit next week. We'll go through our
touch
official.
a little bit and have a rank.
Well, it's been a couple of months, couple of months long build up rank. Big group session next week.
Ready for a release.
I'm excited about this one because this, for you, Matty, you make no secret, season 7 is your favourite season of Stargate SG-1.
Yep.
I know
it's everyone's.
Well, it's everyone's. And you know what? Doing up my list, I'm sort of looking at the same deal. I was very easily like filling up the top and very easily filling out the bottom just because I'm like, well, if it's not like the top 3, then it just all may as well be down the bottom because everything's just, it's all very much the same except for like you said, a couple of episodes.
So because of all the two-parters, we've actually technically got 18 episodes.
Yeah.
So we'll do 6, 6, and 6. I mean, at the moment, I've got a bottom 2 and a top 16. So,
So we're doing Fallen and Homecoming as one?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so we do Fallen and Homecoming as 1, Heroes as 1, Lost City as 1. That brings us to 18 episodes, so we can do a top 6, middle 6, and bottom 6.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be top 7 still. The middle can fuck off.
Well, like I said, even if I've done like 4 different versions of my rank at the moment, and the closest I could get was a top 2, a bottom 2, and a middle 14. Is that okay?
Yeah, fine. Yeah,
that's acceptable. All right, we might just go with that.
As long as it all fits
Top
on the
8.
spreadsheet, we're good.
Bottom 2 and the rest.
And the rest.
Hashtag and the rest.
That'll be next week on Get Into Gate. In the meantime, you can check out all of our podcasts for Season 7 and all of Stargate SG-1 on your favourite podcasting outlet. Just search Get Into Gate, a Stargate podcast. Hit us up on the socials, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Keep those notifications on when the podcasts are out, or send us in something for the hairy mailbag, getintogate@gmail.com.
And if you want to find our Lost City, go to patreon.com/getintogate.
It was right there the whole time.
Is Rhys's Lost City anything like his bad date?
Who are you asking?
Oh, everyone, I guess.
Whoever knows.
Everyone's found your Lost City, haven't they?
It ain't lost, mate. Believe me. Plenty of thoroughfare.
Traffic.
Someone's cracked your dome? Cracked the dome of your outpost?
Nearly got there, mate. Keep trying.
I'll try. I should have stopped. I should have left it.
Should have left it. I am Mitch_Lewis on Twitter and Instagram. Matty, where are you at, mate?
At High Pitch Matty.
Brendan.
At the, where am I? At Big Shrendog.
Banana in
you're
soup.
back.
I'm back.
And I am at the Flying Gibson.
We will see you back for our group rank of Season 7 of Stargate SG-1. And then, Rhys, in 2 weeks' time, the beginning of everything changing. It's not just SG-1 anymore, baby.
Yes.
We've got more Stargate than you've ever had before.
That's
Double the Stargate.
Double Stargate. If I knew the Atlantis tune off the top of my head, I'd start humming it.
Actually, the funny thing is, when Jack got frozen, they started playing the Atlantis theme.
Actually, I had that as a soundbite.
See that?
Damn it.
Did you
They
hear
did
that?
it in 2 places, yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, they play the Atlantis sting underneath Jack doing his ancient stuff.
No wonder Rhys and I didn't bring that up because
Absolutely.
we wouldn't know.
No idea.
Get Into Geek.